Hello, everyone. So we're here today to talk about our new collaborative book that is so amazing. So I'll tell you all about it in a minute. Pam, pam, suspense. And right now I'm interviewing this amazing lady that I met years ago, and I completely fell in love with her because she's such an amazing artist, and she has this deep feeling and thoughts inside. And I remember even the conversation we had years ago because it was so deep, the kind of conversations I love to have with powerful women. So her name is Latar Drago, and she's an expert online marketing and IT consultant strategy. Of course, she's the strategist on all this, and she's even doing all our beautiful social media marketing, as you can see on here. I mean, I have to because this is here she, here I don't know how to point my finger. Yeah, right. And what I love about this is that our book, GSD, and I have this, get shit done, no more excuses, is not even launched yet, and we are already bestsellers. Can you believe that? Awesome. That's the power of doing this together and working with people like Linda Sunshine West and Sally Green. And so I'm super excited to share this today with my friend Latara. And Latara, tell us about your chapter. And I know the title is Time Management for Procrastinators. Whoa, tell us about that.
Well, thank you so much for having me here and for opening up this invitation to the GSD authors. And I really love what you said about the we were able to get to bestseller status together, because that's really what Linda and Sally provide, is a sense of community. And there's strength in the community, that we're all supporting each other, we're all lifting each other up. And I just love everything about it. So thank you so much for having me here today.
Of course, my pleasure.
And regarding the chapter, it's all about a more practical solution for people who are procrastinators like me, because got really bright for a second. Let's see if I can fix that. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Okay, there we go.
We are live, so this is absolutely as it is.
Live and imperfect. And that's kind of one of the things that I actually mentioned in the chapter too, is that imperfect action beats perfect action. So it's kind of a message to procrastinators out there, how you can manage your time, get things done, even if you're the kind of person that doesn't typically get things done. I have a couple of tips and tricks on how to not only overcome your procrastination, but use it to your advantage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are a little procrastinators, right? And I'm sure that there's some tips that you share on your chapter about procrastination, which we're not going to give them all. They're going to have to go and get the book, because it's a great book. There's so many authors and great authors, and each one of the chapters have a lot of value on it. So maybe you can give us just one tip, just the tip of the iceberg, and all the rest they will have to read the book.
Can I narrow it down to just one? I think one of my favorites is to set a deadline for yourself, even if it's self-imposed. Like, some things you do have a deadline, and that's one of the things that I feel like my superpower is when I have a deadline, I will move mountains just to get it done. And that was because I was in a fast-paced work environment for years and years. But when I'm doing things for myself, like as an entrepreneur, you have to be very self-motivated, and it's kind of hard sometimes to keep things moving forward.
Yes.
So sometimes I will give myself a deadline for all of my goals that I want to achieve. It's not enough to just say, oh, I want to write a book someday. You have to give yourself a deadline. So one of my deadlines was to write the chapter for the GSD book. And obviously we actually had a hard deadline for that. And I was able to submit my chapter on time. And yeah, that's one of the main things is to just set a deadline, set SMART goals so that you actually have a measurable, it's measurable, it's specific date that you're going to accomplish this in. So I think that's one of the reasons why some things don't ever get done, is you say, well, someday I'm going to do that.
Let me ask you, because this is one of my challenges. My mind is wandering all day, and I have like 1,000 ideas a minute. So every time I sit down and I have the deadline, which I usually take the last day, even the warning, like, if you don't, you'll be out of this. Because I have so many things in my mind, and even I get distracted. So what kind of tip do you have for somebody like me that honestly, I want to, but I feel that sometimes I can't?
Okay. So do you feel like in those instances you're able to get the thing done within that amount of time, or does that deadline pass and you still don't have it done?
I usually pass the deadline and do it on the next deadline when they say it's now or never.
It's now or never.
Yes.
So there's that sense of urgency there, right?
And I'm very creative when I'm in the sense of energy, but then it takes a toll on me because emotionally I get exhausted.
Right. Yeah. So one thing is, it's awesome to do things incrementally, doing something for 15 minutes a day versus waiting until the end of the week and then cramming 3 hours all in one go. That would be exhausting, whereas the 15 minutes a day doesn't seem like you're hardly doing anything. Now, that being said, in an ideal world, that's what we all want to do, right? But sometimes you'll get to the end of the week and you didn't do those 15-minute a day increments. So now you have to cram to catch up. But one of the things, oh gosh, I wish I could remember. I'm drawing a blank right now, but it's the law which states that the amount of time that you give yourself for a project, that's how much time it will usually take.
Oh, no matter what.
Yes. But one of the things that I love to do is I like to go onto my Google Calendar and I will create little chunks of time on there where I'm specifically working on a project. And I used to only put things on my calendar if it was an appointment with somebody else. And I've learned since then to put my own projects on there so that when that, I get little notifications on my computer. And so I'll look at my phone and I'm like, what's happening in 15 minutes? What am I supposed to be doing? And then it reminds me. So setting yourself reminders.
Right. I love that.
Yeah. Giving yourself little bits of, reminders, feedback, kind of like giving yourself an accountability system, I think really, really helps. And it's not just accountability with yourself. Set up some sort of accountability system, whether it's you have an accountability buddy, or you have a group that you're in, or you have a coach, somebody to report to, or things like that.
Wow,
setting up
I love
safes
it.
for yourself, basically.
I usually use the alarms for everything, like so I'm not late for places and things. So my Alexa is such a great partner in my life. So maybe I need to set more reminders for my work. That was awesome. And I also think that this is just, like I said, the tip of the iceberg. People, don't stay just with this, because there's a whole chapter in here, whole chapter that you need to read that Latara wrote for us. And there's so many good titles. Like my chapter is called Love Matters, and it's my story and how I overcome one of the darkest moments in my life. So I would love for you to get your copy, get your Kindle copy, whatever, but read it. And Latara, I also think that, like I said, this is just the tip of the iceberg, because overcoming procrastination is really is something really deep, right? It doesn't just, it's not a surface thing. It's something that's really deep. I always said that in my hard drive, I don't have order, or structure. So this is something that is a challenge, and there's no coincidence that I'm interviewing you first. I love it. So I want you to leave us with something that you want to share with the audience. Just look at the camera and tell them something that might inspire them, not just to read the book, which is awesome, it's a great book, and there's so much to learn, because this is about action, taking action. This is not just a book of stories. This is about tips for you to take actions in all different matters in your lives. But I'm sure there's some tip that you want to end this sharing with the audience about why is this important in their lives.
Okay, thank you for that wonderful question. And I do want to answer that, but I wanted to just touch on very briefly something that you said. You said, Alexa is my accountability partner. And I love that. And I think that's a really wonderful use of AI. And definitely use AI to your advantage to get things done. And I agree with you 100%. This book is all about things that you can implement in your life in order to become an action taker if you're not, or to become even more productive if you're already an action taker. But also, if you don't meet that deadline, don't get down on yourself. I think that's one of the main things that we need to remind ourselves is it's very easy to fall into the trap of, getting very negative towards yourself. If you're like, oh, I should have done that and I didn't do it, and you just start going into this downward spiral. But the fact of the matter is, if you use these strategies in this book, even if you only are successful at implementing them 1% of the time, you're still a lot better off than if you didn't have those goals, if you didn't try, if you didn't take some sort of action. So if you, one of the things that I love about Linda is she says, set impossible goals. Okay, so she's not so much about the setting attainable goals, but setting impossible goals. Wow. And one of the things I love about that is if your target is a lot further away than would be conceivable.
Absolutely.
that stretches your mind to think, how can I do this? And then if you don't make that goal, don't get mad at yourself. Just pat yourself on the back and say, great job for doing as much as you did and getting as far as you did. So that's one thing to make sure, always put yourself in a good light. Don't be down on yourself if you don't make it. So
I just love what you just said, because we are always judging ourselves. We're always just counting backwards instead of forward. And this is about that sometimes we treat ourselves worse than we would treat our worst enemy. And I love, and I appreciate you sharing this, because it's so important that you value what you do. It doesn't matter. Every little win is a win. So if you celebrate yourself and you say, hey, you did great today, because everything is perfect. You are absolutely perfect the way you are. We are imperfectly perfect. And that's the beauty of this, right? And always appreciate what you do.
Perfect.
Yes, wonderful. Absolutely. And be nice to yourself. Absolutely. Love yourself, because actually, I've said that so many times, but it's always good to repeat it. You are the love of your life. The person in the mirror is the love of your life. So start treating that person as the way it is, the love of your life. Okay, Latara, thank you very much. And we also want to thank Linda and Sally for putting all this together. And yeah, Linda is an action taker. I love her. I Get Shit Done for me is very close to my heart, because Linda created a mastermind in person long ago, before COVID. We had before COVID, after COVID. before Christ, after Christ, something similar. And we used to go to her home, and we're all women, and we would brainstorm together, and we call it GSD. So for me, it's really close to my heart because, oh my goodness, those times were really nice to be all together in person and share our geniuses. So Latara, thank you very much for being here. You are truly amazing, and I enjoy this conversation as much as I'm sure you enjoy it. And I'm gonna add all the way to get in touch with Latara in the comments to ask any question you need. And there she is, the expert online marketing strategist, an IT consultant, and also a creative artist in graphic design and so much more. So for you to get in touch with her anytime you want. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Latara.
Have a wonderful day and get this book. It will change your life.
Yeah, and get done. Bye.
Bye.
What is the recording? Oh, here it is. Then I can